I have just spent a week with my kids from Atlanta at the beach. And when I got there, I used to say, morning, all y'all, or y'all, morning, all y'all. That used to be. They told me that to include everybody, I have to say all y'all. So, good morning, all y'all. Yay. So, I had told a few of my friends that my Southern background is actually very authentic. I was born in Southern Canada. I moved to Southern Idaho. I lived in Southern California raising my children, and now I live in Southern Oregon. So see, I'm really from the South. So good morning, all y'all. My talk is beliefs are demonstrations, and it's one of my biggest beliefs is there are no accidents. So there's no accident that I'm here talking to you about beliefs, which is one of my very prime beliefs about how it affects our lives, what we can do with it, and we have total power over our beliefs if we know what to do with them. So it's been very interesting for me to hear the stories that people tell me of how they came to the science mind philosophy. I mean, there are many, many, many stories. A lot of them are similar to mine. I am cradle Catholic. I was educated in a private Catholic school. I was married in Catholic church. I raised my children Catholic. But then after they were grown, I felt like I needed to have something that was a little more commensurate with my lifestyle at that time. And so I also knew that there had to be a more personal relationship with God, and I really needed to find that. I needed to find a way to be one with God, not have any intermediary, not to have anybody telling me what to do or how to get there. I just needed to do it on my own. And so during this process, I did a lot of eliminating. I was involved with Wicca, I was involved with a Native American group. I had 5 or 6 different groups that I really, really tried to use as my intermediary to get to God, and I don't need one. So along the way, I had a friend who was riding bicycle with me one day, and I said, so where do you go to church? Because I was still trying to find my place. And she says, well, I'm going to this really weird center, and I don't know that you'd like it, and I'm a little reluctant to take you there. I said, well, that had convinced me, didn't it? Yeah, what did you? So, according to Dr. Seuss, who is one of my favorite philosophers, life's a little weird. We are all a little weird. And when we find someone whose weirdness is compatible with ours, we join up with them in weirdness and we call it love. Well, I don't know that the science of mind is weird, but I did fall in love with it and I have not regretted a minute of it since. One of the first things that caught my attention in the science of mind philosophy was the strong emphasis on beliefs, that everything that happens in our lives is according to our beliefs. That's why my talk is called Beliefs Are Demonstrations, because that's what it is. Having studied NLP for a number of years, I knew the power of beliefs and what they could do and how they affect us. And so when I heard the science of mind word demonstration, to me that was equivalent to the NLP word, the effect of positive beliefs. Holmes says that the possibility of demonstrating does not depend upon environment, conditions, location, personality, or opportunity. It depends solely upon our beliefs, and ours is the privilege of giving birth to it. So my privilege today is to give birth to this talk about a subject that is very near and dear to my heart. Beliefs, how they affect us, where they come from, and what we can do about it. Since demonstrating depends solely upon our beliefs, according to Holmes, and Jesus said, it is done unto you as you believe. When you feel deprived, when you feel taken advantage of, when you feel misunderstood, when you feel poor, the evidence of your belief is showing itself to you. That's the evidence of your belief, not the evidence of your value or the evidence of your worthiness. This is not a punishment for any sins that you've committed. This is not a withholding of God's love. It is not luck, bad luck. It is not favoritism. It is not injustice or bad karma. What it is manifested evidence of our belief. So if you're feeling happy, if you're feeling blessed, if you're feeling exhilarated, if you're feeling rich, if you're feeling abundant, that's the evidence of your belief is showing itself to you as well. So our beliefs become demonstrations when they are in alignment with what we want. As we experience life, we grow and expand. Our desires grow and expand with our life experiences. Sometimes our beliefs just don't keep up with our expanded desires. Why? Because our minds cling to irrational thoughts and false beliefs in order to prevent the expansion that challenges us to grow. We want to grow. We all want to grow. We want to grow, so we get confused because we're doing everything the self-help books, the TV shows, the videos tell us to do. And still, we do not manifest our desires. Am I supposed to be able to see myself?
Yeah.
Still going?
Yeah.
Okay. So at the center of our being, we know who we are. We know what we want. At the center of our being, we know. So what's holding us back? As metaphysicians, when we recognize beliefs that are limiting our lives and we decide to change them, we do our spiritual work. We do affirmations. We do intention setting. We do visioning and many other spiritual approaches. But sometimes our beliefs are immune to all of these ways of changing. We often feel a temporary change, but are dismayed when it doesn't last. To make it last, we need to shift. We need to shift not only our thinking, but our body responses. And then we can dismantle the veil of beliefs that keep us in a dream of limited self-separation. I found 3 quotes from Quimby, Gandhi, and Holmes that kind of cover the who, what, when, where, and how, just briefly. So Quimby declared our beliefs shape our thoughts and feelings. Therefore, to change conditions in our bodies or our lives, we must change the beliefs that shape those thoughts and feelings. And then Gandhi says our thoughts become our words become our actions become our character, and our character becomes our destiny. And then Holmes said that no matter what the lips may be saying, so if we change something just verbally, it's not working. No matter what the lips may be saying, the inner thought outspeaks them, and the unspoken word often carries more weight than the spoken. He continues to say that everything in your life depends on your beliefs. Change a belief, you can change your world. So our beliefs shape our thoughts become our actions become our destiny. So to change our destiny, we need to change our beliefs. But I'm getting way ahead of myself. It might be really good to define what we call a belief. I looked up in the dictionary, and the dictionary said, a belief is a conviction or a persuasion of truth. Then I thought, well, I'll look up the Science of Mind dictionary. What does it say? It says a belief is a conviction or a feeling of the truth. Well, they both agree that belief is a conviction, but it is that, but it's much, much more. It is a way into the vitality or the life form that waits in everything. The life form is what Lynn McTaggart calls the field. And the field is the life force that pushes a plant through the concrete. It beats our hearts, and it keeps the universe in balance. And it is just waiting for us to use it. And since we are servants of the beliefs we hold in mind, this statement tells me that you, me, everyone, has a way into the field of all possibilities through beliefs. There are personal beliefs and collective beliefs. Some collective beliefs that I know you'll recognize is the earth is flat. God keeps score. The universe revolves around the earth. We used to laugh. We can laugh at these, but at one time, these were predominantly collective beliefs that everyone fell into. On a personal level, one personal belief that kept me in fear for many, many years, and I'm really glad it's gone, is that as a Catholic mother of 6 children, I was almost in a panic until I got them to the baptismal font. Because I just knew, my belief was so strong, I knew that if they would die before they were baptized, they would surely go to purgatory and maybe even hell. So where did I get such a fear-based belief? Well, we get our beliefs from family, friends, culture, society, education, the media, the pulpit, understood and misunderstood experiences, truths and lies we've been told, and truths and lies that we continue to tell ourselves. Beliefs come in the form of a critical voice. You can't, you don't, and who do you think you are? They can even come from a casual comment made on a playground by a childhood friend. It can be a casual comment made from somebody you admire. It can even be something you heard as an infant in a crib. Sometimes our beliefs seem to want to keep us safe by saying, don't try that. But we are so convinced that what we believe is the truth that we put fear into our children at times. When babies are first born, they know how to swim. By the time we get through cautioning them about the dangers of water, they can no longer swim, have to be taught something that was inherent when they were born. But since our parents are our first teachers, we watch, we listen, we match their actions, and we go along with their beliefs. This is true in the animal kingdom as well. I remember reading a story about a young man who was walking with his very best friend, a pregnant dog. And his dog got hit by a car. Well, she couldn't use her back legs, but she got around perfectly well by pulling herself forward with her front legs and dragging her back legs. She gave birth to very healthy pups, and as they grew, they started emulating her. They started walking, pulling themselves together forward with their forward paws, dragging their back legs, because they thought this was a proper way of being dog. When we follow what our parents teach us, we think it's the proper way of being human. And we go along with the beliefs until we start growing and expanding. Well, how about those crazy, illogical beliefs? Some of them just don't make sense. Abraham Maslow, who is the creator of the hierarchy of needs, tells a story about a psychiatrist who was treating a man who believed he was a corpse. Despite the doctor's logical arguments, the man continued with this belief. In a flash of inspiration, the psychiatrist asked the man if corpses bled. Well, the man was highly indignant. He said, "Of course not. Don't be ridiculous. Corpses don't bleed." So after asking permission, the doctor pricked the man's finger, drew a drop of blood, and what do you think the man said? Well, I'll be darned, corpses do bleed. Sometimes our beliefs are very strong, and they are often illogical. So that's where the beliefs come from. But how do you think our beliefs come into being? Do you think we are forming them consciously? Actually, our subconscious is doing the forming. Our subconscious is like a recording camera, always on, recording everything and storing it. We think that what is just is, and if we see it, it's real, and we believe it. I'm sure you've heard a lot of people say, seeing is believing. Well, we want to be truthful, we don't want to lie to ourselves, but just because something seems to be true doesn't mean it is something we want to give our attention to. We are consistently processing massive amounts of information. Dr. Hugh Lenz says that we are processing 15 bytes consciously and 15 million bytes subconsciously. So that's why when we come, we will accept.
Oh, well, try again.
We are consistently processing massive amounts of information. When we believe something is so, we will accept additional information that supports that belief. That's why when we come to a center like this, we're able to hear and accept the information that matches, enhances, and adds to those positive beliefs. Often, if we're introduced to new information that's contrary to those beliefs, we don't even hear it. We seem to have an on-off switch. If something matches, I can hear it. If something doesn't match, I don't even hear it. 95% of our beliefs are subconscious and not deliberately created. So 5% are deliberate conscious creations. So we are reacting and responding to subconscious input 95% of the time. So I'd like to make a suggestion here. I'd like to suggest that we change seeing as believing to believing as seeing, and then create positive beliefs, and we can affect the collective consciousness. Well, there may be things that you think you have no choice about believing. But according to Dr. Seuss, again, he says you have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself any way that you choose. The May Science Mind magazine had an article called Beyond the Veil of Beliefs, which said, while our habit is to filter our experiences through fear-based beliefs and react with fight, flight, or freeze, there exists another possibility. We can learn to investigate and release the core beliefs that obscure our radiant and wise heart. Core beliefs that obscure our radiant and wise heart. I really like it that we can release that. But the release isn't done by fierce, forced determination. It's done by coming to understand that some of our beliefs aren't positive. And then when we recognize what we believe is directing our lives, and we release resistance to change, we can open a space for new beliefs. But we often don't want to change. Besides being a challenge to growth, we've had those beliefs for a really long time. They've become our friends. We don't want to give them up, even if they aren't serving us. Again, the Science Mind magazine said, you cannot accept the power of life of freedom until we admit it is our own beliefs that imprison us. So how do we decide which beliefs to keep for our highest, best good and to get to that life of freedom? After all, we don't deliberately create something that holds us back from what we want. We pay attention to freeway signs, we pay attention to street signs, we pay attention to stop signs, but we don't pay attention to body signs. When it comes to making decisions in that quiet, small voice, which is trying to get our attention, gets drowned out, we still have a very loud GPS system that never fails. Its job is to assure us we're choosing a match between our beliefs and our desires, or to warn us when we're off track. This guidance system uses our feelings and emotional responses, compares them to our beliefs, and then sends up a green flag, or maybe a red flag. There are no checkered flags here. It is our personal gauge. It's unique to you. It's unique to me. It's individual, and the instructions may not be found in any book or manual. Its title is very refined and spiritual. This is the GG system, or the gut gauge system. Told you it was refined. But this is how it works. We have two brains, one in our head, one in our gut. When we have a gut feeling, it is our subconscious reaction telling us there is not a match between our desire and our current beliefs. Doesn't mean that our desires are bad. It just means that our current belief is not keeping up with our expanded life experiences, expectations, and no matter how hard we try to make something happen, when our beliefs and desires don't match, we meet resistance. Well, you've heard people say that they should have listened to their gut feeling, or I had a gut feeling about something. When our beliefs are in alignment with our desires, we experience a really good gut feeling. When they're out of alignment, we experience separation, feel less than good, and then we know it's time to figure out what needs to be changed, and that's when we get the checkered flag. Since I knew about the power of our beliefs when I first came to Science of Mind, I thought it would be a really good thing to incorporate what I had learned in NLP with my new spiritual studies. Well, I started to figure out a way to bring these two important parts of my life together. Well, that was one time when I thought I had many parts operating inside of me, had many voices racing around my head, and they were all conflicting. One part of me was saying, it's all beliefs, you've been working with them for years, you know what to do, and the other part was saying, oh, no, you don't, who do you think you are? Do you remember when Reverend Ruth talked about the crazy people driving the car and not letting God drive? Well, that's what was happening with me. I was letting the crazy people drive. I finally realized I wasn't in control, so I just let go. I let God, as the 12-step programs tell us to do. But I have a caveat here. Be careful when you really let go and let God. Within 2 days of letting go and saying, okay, show me why and how beliefs are important in our lives and why I should talk to anyone about it. Now it's 2 days and I want you to count with me. I had supporting information from Holmes, Chopra, Quimby, Course in Miracles, Dispenza, Dyer, Power of Your Word Course, Dr. Seuss, a rough outline from some old material I'd been teaching a long time ago, and a lot of nudging from Spirit. It was an avalanche. Couldn't do anything for 2 days to try and catch up. I could barely keep up with everything that was pouring in about beliefs and their importance in my life as well as yours. But I've also noticed that right behind some great aha or some new information come the questions, and the question was, now what? What are you going to do with it? Well, one of my strong beliefs is that there are no accidents. So when I started asking, now what, I expected a nice, clean answer from Spirit. I did not receive a nice, clean answer. It came in the form of a frustration. The long-standing frustration was with workshops I had attended over the years that didn't tell me how to achieve what they advertised and what I paid for. They told me how I should be, they told me how I should feel, they told me how I should perform. They did not tell me how to get there from where I was. A really good metaphor was a map in the airport in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where I'd gone to study with John of God. Well, we walked in and there was this huge map. It was very well laid out. It showed us exactly where the plane was that we were supposed to catch, but it did not show us where we were. There was no red, you are here, mark to orient us. Fortunately, we had 8 hours to find our plane, and we did. But the result of spiritual nudging and the avalanche for me was a green flag to offer you a mission. This is it. Here it comes. But I'm going to remind you of the on-off switch about new information that I told you about. This might be new information, so please keep the on-off switch on for a few minutes. But do you remember the TV show Mission Impossible? This is a new mission, should you choose to accept it. Well, this is not Mission Impossible, and the instructions will not self-destruct in 30 seconds. But should you choose to accept this new mission and discard beliefs that you finally recognize as false, obsolete, or burdensome, you can create a new space. New beliefs will fill the empty space. Some of them will be interesting, some may be startling, some richly insightful, and some so profound they can redirect the course of your lives, as Ernest Holmes assures us. Well, I've given you a lot of information on beliefs. Some I'm sure you already heard. But I'm offering also to provide a practical, effective way to change any belief that's not serving you, if you want to take the mission. Several people have participated in what I call the belief transformation, and they've agreed to share their experience with you after the service if you ask them. So if all of you brave souls who've gone through the belief transformation with me will stand up. Now these are the folks that have gone through the belief transformation. They are willing to share with you what they experienced. Not the personal part, but just the general experience. So if any of you are curious about the process of changing beliefs, talk to any one of these folks. And we have an interest-only sheet on the activities table for future classes. There are no classes scheduled at this time, but if you put your information on the interest-only sheet, we'll schedule one for you so you can get to new beliefs. So you are here today, which is a very safe place to be, in my heart. If I had suggested my mind, now that's a little more dangerous. But you're safe here, and I'll give you a quick belief relief process you can do right now. Take it home with you. So if you'll turn the lights down, Charles. So for the last few minutes, sit quietly. Close your eyes. If you wish, take a deep breath and relax. Think of something you really, really want. Wanting usually means you focus on the I don't have it feeling. So instead of focusing on the lack of it, focus on why you want it. We usually want something because it will make us feel better. There is a positive reason why you want it. Hold that positive emotion. Why do you want it? Then imagine how having it will affect your life in a positive way. Where, when, with whom will you be experiencing it? Then hear what you will be saying to people and hear what they'll be saying to and about you. Notice that as you hold a positive feeling, more positive feelings are added. Each one attracts another good one. Your desire, backed by the conviction of the good you experience, is called the law of mental equivalence. We put the desire out to the law, the ever-present, ever-revealed, all-wise, intelligent power. And the law responds with physical evidence. You may notice somebody new walk into your space, see a new book. You'll notice things will appear that will be proof that your desire is starting to happen. And you'll realize these things are not just random, freakish coincidence, but cooperative incidents. And you know Spirit has handled it. As this happens, you are open to even more positive good things, and life just gets better and better. So when you're ready, come back to the room. Enjoy and keep practicing holding a positive emotion about something you really, really want, and then focus on why you want it. So to conclude, when you feel happy, when you feel exhilarated, when you feel satisfied, when you feel blessed, the evidence of your belief shows itself to you. What you are living all day, every day, is the manifested evidence of your own belief. And that is called demonstration. Namaste.
Yay.